Welcome back to Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network. Good old Lucy, right over here licking the microphone. By the way, happy Father's Day to all the incredible dads out there.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day, especially
Right,
to my
Woos?
dad, Al. But yeah, big thank you to our wonderful, wonderful sponsors as, we're hitting year 8, which is wild. Season 9 or 10, we've lost track now. But, of course, we want to thank Fox 8. We've been with them for almost a year now. You can get brand new episodes every single week on the Fox 8 WGHP YouTube channel, as well as on my Fox 8 Plus. We are now easier to find. zdnpodcast.com is the website. And, of course, a big thank you to our good friends over at Zibster. That is Zibster. Be sure to check them out for all of your website and SEO needs. We got a great episode for you. It's been a heck of a year so far. We're only about halfway through. It's been a great year so far for the horror realm, I guess you could say, with more coming. Of course, we got Evil Dead Burn coming up soon, and a bunch of other stuff that we'll kind of get into. But right now, we're going to talk about 2 of the biggest hits of the year that were made for very little money. Obsession by
Curry Barker.
Curry Barker. And, of course, Backrooms done by
Kane Parsons.
Kane Parsons. Both YouTube sensations. Obsession made for just under $1 million. It's already crossed, I think, 100 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Or almost there. So that's
very much so.
One heck of a return on investment for the investors there. Sold for 14 to 15 million after the Toronto Film Festival. And yeah, I'm sure Focus Features is very, very happy with the product. Backrooms was made for about 10 million, but the director is the youngest director in A24 history. And these were based.
Just turned 20.
Oh yeah, just turned 20. And based on his shorts that he did on, we're going to cover both films, what we think about them, the whole 9 yards, what this means for kind of like the future. We definitely feel like the future of the horror genre is in good hands between these two. And, of course, directors of, like, Weapons, Zach Krieger, right? And a few other ones out there. And, of course, these companies like A24 and Focus and Neon that just, keep pumping out hits. So Jordan got to see both. I've only gotten to watch Obsession, so that'll be what I'm covering the most. But, why don't we start with you and start with Backrooms?
Okay. So I loved Backrooms. I love both, but just starting with Backrooms, I loved it. I am Gen Z, so I grew up with the precursor of creepypasta online, which is this whole subculture of like eerie, weird internet videos of things like the Backrooms. That's Kane Parsons did the original YouTube video based off a like 4chan Reddit post about like liminal spaces and like the back rooms of this mattress where whatever. You know what? Let me read real quick the 4chan post.
Do it.
That this all started with. Kind of eerie photo of this yellow wallpapered back rooms of some kind of office building or space. And the original post says, "If you're not careful and clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the back rooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old, moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you." So that's all it was, and it's like a picture. It's just a yellow back rooms. That's it. And then that thing, and then it just is one of those things that just your imagination just starts running wild, and it also looks familiar because everybody's seen like a liminal space that's like
creepy, an
old Kmart or like a abandoned mall. I'm sure everybody's been to like a 80% abandoned mall where there's like 5 stores at like closing time or whatever. It's like that, and it's that feeling of like sadness, loneliness, whatever. Just creepiness that like you wonder what goes on here in these kind of spaces. And so just everybody's imagination runs wild. And so Kane Parsons did a YouTube video where he used you know, he did his own motion graphics and whatnot, Blender and things to like make this little animated like horror short of somebody walking through the back rooms and like this entity is like chasing you or like is watching you from the back rooms. It's like a found footage thing.
Yeah.
And so that's like, and then from that, now he signed with A24 and did the Backrooms feature. And it was just awesome. It just takes the concept of that little short and just makes it into like this with so much more context of like theories you can come up with.
Yeah.
I mean, gives it a whole plot with characters and everything, and not just like the creature.
Yeah.
Which is awesome too. But I loved it. I thought it was super creative and original. I'm so glad people are taking chances on like young creators with potential and like who have the talent and like are self-taught, because I mean he's self-taught in Blender, he's self-taught everything to do with filmmaking, just like on YouTube growing up and like doing his own stuff. And so I mean like this is what happens when you let like maybe not a nepo baby make content for once. So it's really refreshing. It was a lot of fun, especially like again I kind of grew up with like a precursor to it. I think it'd still be great for people who you don't have to know about like creepypasta and like all the weird internet trends of that time. Again, the Backrooms is like the eerie part about it is it feels like you've been there.
Yeah.
And it's a movie there's endless conspiracy theories about online that I'm very much into, and but it's good. It takes like themes of like memory and how your memory and like dreams distort things and like over time. Like it's true that when you think of like a memory from your past, you're not seeing an exact copy of that. Your memory, every time you think of it, things are altering. Like, but you just don't know it.
Yeah.
And so it kind of like visualizes that for you on screen. Like that idea of like your memories and like how you experience things is not as crystal clear as you think it is. And like how your brain could distort that sort of thing. It's got a lot of like innuendos to mental health and like trauma, like how you process trauma. Like there's plenty of things you could gather from it.
Okay.
Because it's about like a guy who's in therapy and with problems with his wife, whatnot, and it kind of through him you kind of get all those themes of like, okay, like are you just inside his mind right now or what's happening? But there's so many theories, which I love. I love the idea that like there doesn't need to be a correct one. Like, I think I've read so many theories that are different, but all could be completely valid. Like I love that. I love, like, the mystery element of a movie or a book or whatever where, like, you don't have to have an answer.
Right. Like, leave it up to the imagination.
Yeah. So I loved it. Two main characters were great. Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yikes.
He's a great actor. His name is very hard to pronounce.
You're a great actor. You're
phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Played the main character of Clark, who again is in therapy and owns like a furniture store and blah blah blah. And I do love Renat Renzev. Sorry, I think she's Norwegian as well. So Mary is great. The whole cast was awesome. Mark Duplass makes a cameo as well.
Really?
Because he's a weirdo.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so
I love him though.
He has a role in the movie.
Yeah.
Not really a cameo. There's like a role in it, but it's, I don't want to say, you still need to see it, so I don't want to like say too much. Yeah, that's fine.
We can do a spoiler-free episode for once.
We'll see how far we get there. But yeah, I really loved it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now, let me ask, between both directors, would this really have been possible without their YouTube following?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, I think YouTube is really a platform right now where, I mean, Curry Barker himself, who did Obsession, is like, that's his only advice to like people is like, put it on YouTube.
Yeah,
like,
get it out there.
If you want to direct, put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because now, especially now that these are like the blueprints for that strategy, like they're producers and stuff are looking at YouTube. They're looking at Reddit for more creepy, like more whatever, weird stories. They're looking at like these online platforms where regular people are making like content that, you know, you haven't heard of because it's not like a copy paste throw up like remakes and like, you know, adaptations, which is, you know, has its own market and it's still great, but for original content, people are looking to these online platforms where normal people are posting.
Yeah.
So to get those stories that like nobody else is thinking of, that like you're
Yeah.
the only one doing. So I think without YouTube, who knows? I mean, maybe if they were inclined enough to like know another route to go,
Yeah.
like, or network in the industry. But I mean, no, I think YouTube is, they owe their like launch pad
Sure.
to YouTube for sure.
And I mean, I think especially too with the horror genre. And don't get me wrong, we're getting remakes. Curry's actually doing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but
Yeah.
with a twist. So can't wait to see that, where it's more about the family itself and pretty much trying, in his words, trying to do for like, I don't know if it's like trying to do for road trips like what Jaws did for people getting in the water. To make people terrified of
I haven't
going
heard
on the
that like
road.
that.
And that's his concept. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And of course, there's been movies like Wrong Turn and stuff like that, and this, that, and the other. But I'm interested to definitely see his vision of Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw Massacre. And yeah, I do think that having a built-in audience is definitely going to be beneficial. Plus, I think it's also going to help you get more leniency from the studio, so they're not watching
Yeah,
your every
that you
move
can
and
have
breathing
ownership
down
over your ideas still, which
Exactly.
is so important.
Exactly. There's just so many studios that look at these dailies, and if it doesn't make sense, they start throwing up a fuss. And
Yeah.
I think it's definitely advantageous to be able just to get out there and do it and learn from your mistakes and
Yeah.
grow in that fashion. And then you also get trust from actors, I'm sure, because they've already seen your work online,
Right.
and especially when you're a brand new director. Some actors can be easy to work with, some not so much. I think it also helps kind of establish that foundation of, let's get to know each
trust,
other.
like-
Exactly. Instill that trust. So very, very happy and excited for these two. And yeah, I agree 100% on the original concepts. And with horror, you do get a lot of original stuff. Sometimes it's a bloodbath and nothing but gore, and I'm cool with that. Hence Terrifier. It doesn't have to make sense. And then other times it's these psychological mind Fs, like both of these films that, I think it's one of the platforms where you could be original and have your own creativity to it, to not have the studios breathe down your neck. Where if you're doing, I'm not saying that regular films are outdated or outplayed, but just horror's got just such a built-in fan base and
Yeah.
always has, where you can get that from people,
There's
whether
a
they
type
love it
of
or hate
horror, just like comedy. There's a type of horror for everybody and a type of comedy for everybody.
it. Exactly.
There's people like Abuela who likes like the B horror, like just bloodbath
Yep.
nonsense. But like there's a it's risk free for like a studio to produce that. If that's what that studio like goes for, like Shudder and stuff
Sure.
like that.
Sure.
Like
Low risk, high reward.
it's I feel like horror is a genre that's very low risk.
Yep.
Because like somebody's gonna love it. Like as long as they can trust that they know what they're doing, and like you
Exactly.
said, because they have the background in like YouTube popularity and fame, they know that they can captivate an audience.
Yeah.
So like they are already, that risk of like it not translating well with big populations is gone.
Sure.
Because they see that Backrooms has, millions of views on YouTube, and that Curry
Yeah.
Barker's comedy shorts have the same millions and millions of views on YouTube, whatever. They know there's no issue there as far as like their creative instincts go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think without YouTube, a lot of this stuff would not be out yet. So it's really exciting. It's like whether you're like a horror filmmaker or a comedy or whatever, or like just wanting to be an indie filmmaker in general, now is a really exciting time to be like, oh, so you might not have to like kiss everybody's
Right.
AWS
Right.
to work to the top. Like you can maybe actually do this on your own. The biggest challenge now is just doing it.
Yeah.
Like talking yourself up to doing it.
That's the thing.
And,
I mean, that's how we started the podcast. It wasn't, as we started out as Multi-Poptural, I knew that wasn't going to be the name we'd have forever. But if we would have waited for the perfect name, it would have taken a year or two for us to even
Right.
get started. So
Right.
get out there, do it, learning curves, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate on people going out there and busting their butt and chasing their dreams, because you just never know. Now, before we switch over to Obsession, what would you rate this out of 5 gold coins for Backrooms?
I really want to see it again. Honestly, I'm gonna give it. I'll give it like a 4.8. Right? I want to give it a 5.
Okay.
But I just really, if it has that mystery element to it, where it's written so like well and like translatable, that you can theorize so many things from it. I
Sure.
love that. That's really impressive to me. That's what I want to do
Yeah.
if I write. Like, I love the idea of like not having to have a clear-cut answer, but the film still like it's not like where you're like you feel like unsatisfied to where you're like, oh, like there's loophole or there's plot holes and stuff. It's not that kind of like
Yeah.
mystery. It's like purposeful mystery.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where it's like this could just be so many things. This could be about so many things. It could, the entity could represent this or that, or, this guy could, the characters represent so many things. So that's just always, for me, like, that's just a personal thing that I will make me rate a movie high is, like, the cleverness with writing and stuff. And I just think, I'm really excited to see what Kane Parsons
It's been a
comes up
great
with.
year. We've had some really great scores. 4.8.
Yeah.
That's fantastic there. Just got an update from my mom, her abuela. We had a little bit of a scare. She found a lump in her breast, went and got checked out, and then she is negative for cancer from the biopsy. So I knew it was going to be negative, but I always put those good vibes out there. Ma, we love you. Fantastic news. Way to start off the day. So just want to give a big shout out to, of course, my dad. Happy Father's Day. Mwah. And then Ma, abuela, love you. And that's great, wonderful news. And very happy to share that with the world. Excellent. So, that's going to just about, like I said, I haven't seen Backrooms yet. I cannot wait to watch it. Got a little bit of time off work to get used to some medicine and all kinds of stuff. That's another story for another day. But, I do plan on hitting up the gym, getting healthier again, and definitely checking out some more movies for us to share with you. By the way, big shout outs to our friends Matt Wells and BB Shea from the Big Foodies podcast. They are now a part of the Zero Dark Nerdy umbrella. Be sure to follow us, Zero Dark Nerdy, on Instagram, Facebook, as well as our YouTube shorts. Matt has been doing a phenomenal job doing these 1 to 2 minute previews or reviews of movies. Just did one on Toy Story 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's not out yet, but
yeah, it's not out yet.
But yeah,
that'll be out shortly. But he's done a couple films and he's been doing great. So big shout out to those guys. And I forgot to introduce ourselves for our new new watchers out there.
Oh wow,
Brian,
first.
El Nino,
Jordan, Baby Night, I guess. Okay.
So yeah, sorry about that. Well, we were just excited to get it started as horror and especially psychological or whatnot is our favorite genre. So now on to Obsession. This one, I believe, it was one of mine to watch during our 2026 movie preview episode. I'm not on YouTube as much as my daughter and the next generation. So for me, it's exciting because I get to learn about these talented individuals that come out with stuff, whether if it's comedy, short films, excuse me, whatever it may be. So, I was not familiar with his stuff from before. I've seen him in a few comedy clips with, like, I think it's Trevor, the funny guy on Facebook and everything. It's Trevor something. But I've seen a couple clips of him doing skits with him. One of them that I really enjoy is when they check your past online gaming footage for a job interview. So
that's pretty clever.
Yeah, it's a great skit. Trevor Wallace. So incredibly funny skits. Definitely check out the job interview one with Curry Barker on it. So they gotta rate you on your online thing, and it's not good with half the stuff that's being said out there.
Yeah,
because he's like, that's not me, and then then you hear him like online, and he's saying his government name, saying his address. So it's a great skit. So I digress. Obsession. I went to the theater. Was it you? Yeah, me, you, and my sister Janice. Ashley did not want to go. Horror's not her thing, even though I think she would have been okay. Yeah, we went. Big shout out to the Golden Ticket, as always. A phenomenal movie going experience. I got to say, it was definitely a fun film. I know that it was based. Curry said that he based it on an episode of The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, about a monkey paw where he grants these wishes, but the outcome's not great.
Paw.
Yeah, yep. And then it was also a Tales from the Crypt episode as well. And before that, it was a Twilight Zone episode. Pretty much like Be Careful What You Wish For.
Yeah.
Made for literally less than, just under $1 million. Shot in less than a month.
Yep.
On top of that. And the performances are great. The actress, Indy Navarrete, is absolutely fantastic. She should, at the very least, get a Golden Globe nomination, if not an Academy Award nomination, with old girl from Weapons winning Best Supporting Actress just this past, February or whatever month it was. Horror is definitely starting to get much more respect when it comes to Academy Awards and Golden Globes as well, as it should. I still feel that old girl from Smile 2 should have been nominated.
There's so many snubs.
A lot of snubs. Tia, or what from Hereditary? What's her name? The mom.
Yes, that's my number one go-to. Toni Collette.
Toni Collette. Yeah, there's been a lot of snubs, and these performances, they're not cheesy jump scare B-movie performances. These are genuine. I mean, especially in Obsession with Indy just doing her thing and just back and forth from somewhat sane to just incredibly erratic and psycho. And I
was just gonna say, super inspired. They said by Pearl, Mia Goth and Pearl, and there's a couple other inspirations too. But that they mentioned several times, that was a huge Curry made sure that she watched that, and she took that and absolutely ran with it and kind of made it her own as well, of course. So.
Yeah, it was, again, it was intense. It was frightening at times. It was kind of funny in some parts.
Definitely funny.
There's a lot of theories out there. It's primarily this guy gets this wishing willow, has this girl, actually has the opportunity to tell her how he feels about her, doesn't, and then makes the wish.
So frustrating immediately.
It is. There's a lot of frustration in this film because, a lot of this could have been avoided.
Right.
Makes the wish and pretty much falls in love with him, but it's not really her. She's still the real her is kind of trapped inside this person. So there's a lot of fun theories out there. There's a couple brutal scenes in there, but her performance alone stands out so well. And really the entire cast was great, but I thought the runtime was the right amount of time. I didn't think it was too short. Didn't think it was too long. I thought the pacing was great. Of course, it starts off a little slow, which I don't mind that.
A little bit slow, but
yeah, I don't mind that. And then really when it hits the gas, and then you're just kind of wondering, okay, what is she going to do next?
You feel like the boyfriend the whole time.
Yes.
You're like, I just felt like this.
Yeah,
because you're just worried that she's going to start screaming, and she does every time she does. So.
Oh man, and there's then there's these little moments when they're at the party. And the girl that was next to him. Oh, that was
one of the funniest, scariest, and also funniest parts of the movie.
Because it's so terrifying. You're wondering what she's gonna do, and that's it. Really, the whole movie is what is this insane person going to do next? And there are some pretty insane things, but then there's the party scene where it's funny and then insane and then funny and then insane. And there's a couple gnarly deaths in the movie. Again, we don't want to spoil too much out there. If you have not seen Obsession, definitely go check it out. One of my favorites of this year so far, for sure.
Yeah.
And, like I said, I know we got Clayface, and which is supposed to be more kind of R-rated horror.
Yeah, we got plenty more good stuff coming
a lot. Yeah, and really, Evil Dead Burn, I think, is next month. Cannot wait for that. The trailers for it look great before we get into Supergirl and, Spider-Man, of course, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the film. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was anything you had to really overthink or whatnot.
No.
And apparently,
it was very again, he made a wish, shouldn't have made the wish. Consequences ensue.
Yeah, if anything, it's
toxic
just,
masculinity.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of subliminal themes
of
throughout,
course,
but it's pretty. You don't need to you're not gonna get a headache over it.
No. You're not going to beat yourself up trying to figure this out. If anything, it's just fun to see what is it that turns her into this, and there's a lot of fun theories out there of what that is.
There's some really frightening. Some of the scariest parts for me were these really subtle moments where she was in a dark corner, or they would light her in this really cool way where kind of it. Now I saw something the other day and I'm that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Thunderbolts. What they did with Bob when he's the Void.
Yeah.
Where it's you only see a glimmer in his eye thing. And they kind of did that with her in certain moments where you can kind of see her eyes and you're kind of you can almost see her face.
Yeah.
But you can't. But there was these moments where she would move really weird.
Yep.
They would edit it or something. She would move like a glitched out video game character. She'd walk sideways or it would be choppy. And those moments would just make my skin crawl. And I loved that. Or it looked like she was just glitched out. There was that element that didn't really fit with the rest of the movie, but I liked that. It was really cool. It kind of added that, a little hint of paranormal, even though it wasn't. That little hint of it. I really enjoyed that. So I thought I had a lot of fun with that movie too.
Yeah, I thought the psychological and like supernatural elements were right on the line. Apparently, this is going to be part of a universe. He already wrapped a film with Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad and a few others about these ghost hunters that are con artists, but then they encounter a
Which
real entity. And
another
then,
basic but clever idea.
yeah,
That like I'm just mad like why didn't I act on that sooner? Because like it's like Ghost Adventure and stuff, which I
yeah,
loved growing up, is so stupid.
yeah,
But like the thought of like them actually getting hit with something.
yes.
Of course that you always think about that, but like that's gonna be funny.
And apparently, the Wishing Willow will make a cameo in the film, so it is part of a greater universe, and can't really wait to see that. We did get a green light on a couple films, just to get off topic for a second. Green light going to start. I think the script's finished. Going to start soon. Is Smile 3.
Yes.
So can't wait for that. Especially the way Smile 2 ended. Like this is going to be some global epidemic type of stuff. And then we just found out that there's going to be Evil Dead Wrath, which will take place before the original Evil Dead in like 1973. So again, it's just a super super fun time for the horror genre. And just being able to, it takes me back to, even though I was a little kid, but, the excitement that my dad gets from like the 80s and 90s of being able to see the stuff in the theaters and not just straight to streaming.
Like a new era of horror finally is coming.
Yeah, where it's not just remakes. And even though you're still going to get like Scream 8, Scream 9, there's going to be franchises that just don't stop.
Exactly.
But this is a real nice breath of fresh air for sure.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I'm definitely going to give it, I'm going to give it 4.5.
Okay.
4.5 is good. It's not perfect by any means,
Yeah.
but rewatchability, 100%.
Right.
I can definitely see this one, but it's still, and I think I'm only giving it 4.5 because it is like cringe at the same time, because you're just sitting there like,
cringe.
and at least now watching it, what's going to happen. So I do want to give it a second watch. Probably
It's a very stressful watch.
On your first
I feel
watch,
like we should mention that. It's
very stressful.
It's stressful.
Yes. Yes. And a little cringe, to be honest with you. On second watch though, I would probably give it a 5 because now I know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? But the first time you watch it is stressful.
With all the theories in mind now,
Sure.
it's just going to elevate like the smartness of that movie for me, and then I'm going to give it a 5.
Yeah, I like it. What's your rating on Obsession?
I'd say a 4.2.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I loved it. I didn't like it as much as Backrooms.
Okay.
But yeah, it was great. I'm excited. I mean, he basically halfway confirmed Obsession 2 was going to be a thing.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I have a great idea for it, so I don't see why he wouldn't do that.
And I mean, again, made it on $1 million, and let me look up the numbers. I gotta see where it's at. I'm pretty sure it's over 100 million by now. Oh my goodness, I was way off.
Yeah.
332 million worldwide. Goodness,
what record is that's
gracious.
breaking like.
Yeah, it's the highest grossing film of all time for Focus Features, and it says the most profitable horror film of 2026. But I would say, because before that it was really Paranormal Activity that was made for like 500,000 and ended up doing like 90 million or something like that.
Right.
Buy it for 15 million, and then I know Focus Features is doing whoever the representative is that bought it. He got a raise.
They wake up like this every day.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I'm sure they worked in back end and stuff like that. I know there's been a lot of like, the main actress only got paid 20 grand. You got to remember, things like this can either go really, really bad or really, really good. And sometimes it's really, really bad for the most part. So, this is also going to be a launch pad to where the next contract's going to be. Instead of 20 grand, it's going to be 2 mil, 3 mil, 4 mil.
Right.
So, I get it. Maybe back-end deals should have been signed, but, at the end of the day, you do what you do, and contracts are contracts.
It's the nature of indie filmmaking, too.
Yep.
I mean, it's the gamble to have ownership of your stuff at the cost of work with, like, other passionate, like, hungry artists, at the cost of, like, you don't get paid as much, of course, because there's not a big studio behind it, or, like, immediately. That's a conversation for another. There's a big debate, and both sides are valid.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And, this was really more to, what I feel like was homegrown marketing. I would see ads for it here and there, but not as much as you do, like, your Christopher Nolan films, Spielberg, this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. And then another fun fact, too, earning over 400 times its production budget, it became only the 5th film in history to cross 100 million globally on a sub $1 million budget.
That's crazy.
Wild,
In
wild,
history.
wild. We want to know what you think, of course. What are your thoughts on Obsession and Backrooms? Again, big thank you to Golden Ticket Cinemas, Sailfish Comics, Cut the Music Prints, Partial Apparel, of course, all our amazing friends and family. Ma, again, such wonderful news out there. We love y'all, and we'll see you next time. Peace.